During the lifetime of every fighting game, devs attempt to really keep every single character in the roster as viable as possible in the early stages of the game. Smash Bros. Ultimate is a perfect example where you had some amazing characters like Fox, Lucina, and Cloud, and the obvious bad ones like Ganondorf, Little Mac, and Dr. Mario. But the thing is that these bad characters were still really capable of just greatness. Playing the game on a casual and Elite Smash counterparts, you never actually ran into the same characters back to back to back to back, unless it was a DLC character that just dropped, because almost every character was fun to play no matter what the viability. For example, I'm a Little Mac main. Does it suck that my character's bad? But he's just really fun, so I don't care. When the game kept getting updated though, Nintendo did the really boring thing of just making almost every single DLC character the best character in the game on release. When Joker came out, almost every pro player used him in tournaments, and then Terry and now Kazuya is played in almost every single high-level Smash tournament. Seriously, if I looked up a pro-level Smash tournament, I bet top 5 are all Kazuya. Looking back at old For Honor, every hero just kind of fucking sucked, huh? Some sucked worse than others, but every hero sucked almost equally. But in the right hands, any hero was capable of playing very well. See, I brought up Smash Bros. DLC for this exact reason. For Honor's DLC characters past the year 2020 are just vastly better than anything on the roster. Well, except for this bum. This is by far the worst hero in the game, and I'm never taking that differently. But to the current topic. Do you think I'm wrong about this? How often do you say a Warden, Lawbringer, Nusha, Kensei, and Dominion over, let's say, VG, Ocelotl, Aphira, Pirate, or Orochi? We're gonna do a little hypothesis, why don't we? I'm gonna play 10 games in a row. In all 10 games, I'm gonna take a screenshot of the match and see how many games will have at least one meta pick. And I'm gonna be duo queuing, so both me and Fudge's picks are not going to count towards the meta counter. In game 1, we start off with a Black Prior and a Shaolin. In game 2, we started with a Shaolin and a VG. In game 3, there was a VG, Aphira, Shaolin, and Shigoki. In game 4, there was a Shigoki, Aphira. In game 5, there was a Hitakiri. In game 6, there was a Black Prior. In game 7, there was a Black Prior, VG, Orochi, Pirate. In game 9, there was an Orochi. And in game 10, there was a VG, Orochi, and Pirate. And I felt like I had to show this one off just because how stupid it is. Oh, and before I hear you say, oh, you probably pick and chose those screenshots, didn't you? Let me counter with this. Do you really fucking think I want to play more than 10 games of For Honor in a row? This is where we get to our first problem with the meta. DLC characters or any reworked characters are given way too many tools compared to the rest of the cast. For a team comp to work, you normally want to have someone with an undodgeable, big hitboxes, hyper armor, and someone with a bash. But with some heroes, you get all of these combined without a single downside. And on top of it, all of them take no skill to play. Once you have 5 reps in one of these heroes, you know everything about them. If you pick Pirate, you fulfill almost every one of these prerequisites. See, in older For Honor, if you played a character like Raider, you had the roles of big hitboxes, hyper armor, and unblockables. But you needed someone with a bash, full block, and someone with undodgeables to cover the aspects you couldn't. This game is so full of heroes that have every single tool for every single scenario, aka some heroes just don't have downsides, or the downsides are so small it doesn't bother them. I refer to Ocelotl in this video as a multi-tool because it has so many tools for so many scenarios, but the truth is, there's so many more heroes I would say are multi-tools in their own. See, Hitakiri has heavy damage, hyper armor, unblockable, and a bash, but she doesn't have undodgeables. But the biggest mistake you can do against the Hitakiri is dodge variable timed heavies, so it doesn't matter. Pirate's downside is her undodgeable is only a light attack. That's not really a downside, is it? She literally has everything else in the game, and yeah, I'm counting her command grab as a bash. Ocelotl, this is fucking Ocelotl. Do I need to say anything? He doesn't have a downside. Shaolin doesn't have any hyper armor in his kit other than his deflect, but if he did have any hyper armor, this character would be insanely broken. Aphira is seen as one of the best heroes in the game in 4s and 1s. Again, everything other than hyper armor, but she doesn't need it, because she doesn't lack defensive options with superior block and crushing counters and dodge cancels. VG is a massive hitbox that has great damage, insane stun lock kills, and attempting to use revenge around her is just not possible, because the second someone hits her guard, you're put into a whole 1.2 second bind where you cannot do anything. I could go on, but womp womp. This is why the meta is stale, because most of the time, one out of these 3 heroes is in every single game of Dominion. Let's refer back to my hypothesis and see if it holds up very well. Oh wow, it did. Now I can hear the other argument. Well, every game has 8 players in it, so it's not rare for one of these people to play one of these characters. To say that, you're huffing fucking copium. The chance that I see the same hero 5 times out of 10 games is insane, let alone almost a single meta pick every single game. There's a thing that many high-level players do in the game called confirmed ganks or perfect ganks, whatever you prefer. Basically a gank that either kills you or does an insane amount of damage, leaving the person in question in full stun lock. Normally only certain heroes have ganks like these, and you guessed it, All of these heroes I mentioned have confirmed ganks with themselves or each other. And yes, I put quotation marks around high level for a simple reason. While I don't deny that these players possess a large amount of skill in their reaction times and knowledge of the game, the way they play is not only game ruining, but just not very skillful at all. You see in other fighting games, all of them have these giant multi-hit combos or touches of death that do large amounts of damage like confirmed ganks. But you want to know the difference between these combos and confirmed ganks? The amount of effort and precision they take. While Mortal Kombat combos look like this, a For Honor confirmed gank consists of maybe 6 buttons, if not less. While only a certain amount of people can pull off the hardest Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter combo, anyone willing to take 1 hour to learn, and a trip to For Honor's comp Reddit scene can do perfect ganks successfully. And the problem is that the MMR system that For Honor uses is as useful as a dead hooker. It can do its job, but there's just better options for it. For Honor's matchmaking system will look at 4 solo queue casual players and say, yeah, the 4 stack of people who haven't lost a game yet, and everyone's rage quit against them, they haven't died once in 3 games, yeah, match them against each other. There is nothing fun about confirmed ganks, and I pray that For Honor gets its hit stun changes added sooner rather than later. The fix, this would be really easy, and a game as shitty as Valorant did this to stop this exact issue. There's a system in Valorant where if you're playing a ranked in a 5 stack, the game would force you into a game with another 5 stack, because Valorant realized the 5 stack will always wipe the floor with anything other than another 5 stack. For Honor should really add a separate mode for solo/duo queue players like Destiny 2 has for things like Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris, to avoid this exact imbalance. Will this drive up queue times for 4 stacks? Probably, and probably not. See, a lot of people actually play in 4 stacks, whether it be groups of friends, high skill players, or Twitch streamers playing with chat. The majority of the player base are solo queue players though, so a fix to help the majority should always prefer over pleasing the minority. Games are meant to be played for fun, unless you're playing Tarkov, because then you just want to kill yourself. But the major point of the game is fun. If you see something that is not fun yourself and don't find fun, then don't play it. Use the 30-second grace period and get out of it. To make a long story short, For Honor is adding heroes that just do too much in this current state of the game. That if you pick them, you're guaranteed to win unless the opposing team is doing the exact same thing. The MMR system in this game cannot determine who should play against who, and it gives you the fastest match, and single pick needs to be added pronto. This concludes my tech talk. Thank you for coming, and I hope you guys have a great day.